Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Wednesday hump day to everyone. Hope everyone's week is going well so far. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist, our little daily updates here from our VW shop. So let me just mention briefly what happened here today. So Jacob kept working on this one as far as stripping it down, getting it ready for paint and body. And Rafa worked on the bug that we lovingly call the tennis ball. I think you can see why we call it that. And I worked on the 66, teeny bit on the barn door over there. And again, I'll talk about all the stuff in more detail later. A little bit on this one. And I think that was it. So why don't we start with Rafa's day here. So Rafa worked on, as I mentioned, the tennis ball, the Ravana Green 74 standard Beetle, and he finished putting the steering column together. So we were actually somehow missing, or I guess it probably like broke and came off when the car was disassembled. There's a bushing in the steering shaft that was missing, and so the steering wheel when it went together, or the steering system when it went together, had excess play. So it was just that bushing that was missing, so it had to come back apart partially. Just didn't notice that was missing, but anyway, it's in there now, and got that all good and tightened up, adjusted the steering column. And so there is a certain amount of adjustment in these as far as like coming fore and aft and so on. And you also want to adjust them so that you don't have a giant gap here between, essentially the steering wheel and the steering column. Keep that gap kind of nice and tight, but not too tight. Obviously, you don't want them rubbing. So there's a certain amount of adjustment that goes on in there. And so, yeah, I did that, and then reinstalled the turn signal stock, which on this also has a wiper stock on the other side here. And yeah, so anyway, some of the stuff was installed previously. We found out that the bushing was missing, had to somewhat pull it back apart. But anyway, now it's together for real. So there you go. Anyway, so yeah, those things happened. He installed the upper pads and these big square washers here where the beam mounts to the body. Wolfsburg West's, last I checked at least, was out of the upper rubber bushings, grommets, whatever you want to call them, pads. And I think Rafa dug around through our stock and found some that we had. So he finally went ahead and installed those. I think the only other major-ish thing that he did today is the owner did mention he wants like an okay stereo system, and by that I think what we're going to do is install a retro sound radio and then a couple of 6x9 speakers that'll go on the panel that kind of covers the rear cargo area when you flip it up on the back seat. So a couple of 6x9s back there, and then we'll probably use, which is the same thing that I used on the red 67 Beetle that left recently, is the little stereo single speaker stereo that what do you call it, retro sound makes in the stock location. So they'll have that one there, and then a couple of 6x9s in the back. Honestly, I mean, unless you're like a hardcore stereo guy, that is plenty of volume for one of these cars. You're just not really filling up that much space with needing to fill up that much space with sound volume. So a couple of decent 6x9s, and then the other one up here in front, that's plenty for a Beetle. So I don't think we're going to do like kick panels and stuff up here. It just really detracts from the look of the car, especially if it's like a really nice restoration like this where everything is correct and stock looking. They just don't really look right. But anyway, yeah, so those are the main things that Rafa did on this one today. The last couple hours of the day, he actually helped Rene, our paint and body guy, doing some detail work on the 68, aka the Krusty Karmann Ghia, just getting it ready for its final primer and then blocking, and maybe another coat of primer, another layer of blocking, and then painting. Hopefully, I think it's going to be painted. Maybe I was kind of hoping for next week, but we're just doing more and more details on it, just really trying to dial it in to make it that much nicer. So it'll be painted for sure by the end of the month. I was hoping for the middle of the month, but that's next week already. Probably like the following week, it'll be in paint. And again, I'm talking about the 68 Karmann Ghia. Anyway, so that was pretty much Rafa's day. This one and then the Krusty Karmann Ghia. So Jacob actually did a little something for this car today as well. So our friend Jason from Air Cooled Vintage Works surprised us and came by a day earlier than we thought he was going to, which was definitely a welcome surprise. And he brought the disc brake kit for the tennis ball, the 74, and he also brought the adjustable front beam for that guy right there. If you saw yesterday's episode, you'll know that I discovered that the front beam was bent on that one, which is no bueno. And so, yeah, I was expecting to get the beam on Thursday, but it came today. So I hopped to it and started installing that. I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail here in a few minutes. But yeah, for Jacob's part, he prepped and masked off and painted the components that need painting for the tennis ball front disc brake kit. So the calipers come that kind of gold color. We'll leave him that. That's actually very appropriate for a late model Volkswagen. And yeah, there you go. And then after that, Jacob turned his attention back to this lovely signal orange Ghia here. And he just continued removing stuff from the car. So he pulled off the speaker. He pulled all the carpet out. It's all just kind of piled up in here now. I think we're going to save it for patterns for when we make a new carpet kit for it. But yeah, the headliner is out. Yeah, I don't even know what. He gave me a long laundry list of things that he pulled off this car, but it's pretty much stripped down now and ready for it to start its paint and body journey here. So we are all sort of blown away by how nice this car is as far as being very dry, so to speak, like rust-free and everything. Totally different scenario here than the Krusty Karmann, the 68. I don't know of any rust on this car at all. I have yet to see any. So really, really nice, solid car. I don't think it's going to need much in terms of body work or metal work. I think yesterday I spent a few minutes talking about this back panel here, what's going on with this gap. I think this is the worst thing on the car is this gap here and then the apron. So this one should be pretty quick to make its way through paint and body and look amazing when it's done. I'm supposed to talk to the owner Friday. Not that we need to know right now, but I'm curious. He mentioned at some point wanting to go maybe silver on this car. But then I think he was kind of changing his mind and rethinking it and wanting to stay with maybe the original orange since it's so, relatively unique. But we'll see. I think I'm supposed to talk to him Friday, so we'll see what he has to say about that. But again, we don't need to know right now because obviously we're not ready to paint it. But I'm just curious more than anything what him and his wife's thoughts are as far as the color of this car. So that pretty much sums up Jacob's day. So for my part, I actually started off with the 63 mouse gray bus, and I was going to start it, and a couple things prevented me, very minor things. But one is the battery was really low. I mean, it was turning the motor over, but it was like, you guys know what it sounds like. So I just went ahead and charged the battery all day here on our extremely old school charger. And then the only other thing, which I thought was kind of odd, was the bulb for the generator light indicator was burnt out. So that was kind of surprising. So yeah, no big deal. I turned on the ignition key and expected to see both idiot lights. Only one of them came on. So a couple minutes troubleshooting that. Turned out it was just a bulb. No big deal. So maybe tomorrow, guys, we'll see. This thing should be charged now and should just be a matter of putting some gas in it and firing this puppy up. So I need to do it either tomorrow or maybe Friday at the latest or maybe Saturday. I don't know. We'll see. You guys know how nervous I get when I'm driving a freshly finished project. And so I think that I probably keep procrastinating, which, shame on me. I need to get this thing done. But yeah, it's got to happen soon because this bus is basically ready for that stage of its restoration here. It's test driving and tweaking stage. So started off with that, didn't get far. And then I decided to spend a few minutes on this one. And if those of you who are maybe new around here don't know much about this, this is of course a 54 barn door that we're doing almost a restoration minus paint and body, although we did do some paint and body on it. Anyway, long story short, this is a 1500cc 36 horse motor that we built for it with a Monaro from Australia dual side draft carburetor kit, lots of cool NOS parts and stuff like that. Anyway, last thing I need to do on this motor before I pull it back out and start it on the test stand is I need to figure out the mounting for the external oil filter. So the case for this is full flowed, so the oil comes right out of the pump. It's going to go to a spin-on filter and then back to the motor. So that will get mounted up under here. So today I kind of crawled around under there, figured out where I'm going to mount it, and then I figured out what AN fittings I need, got those on order. Those will probably be here, I don't know, in a couple days, I'm not really sure. And then I need to make the hoses once I get the filter mounted on the car, measure those lines, make those lines, and then the motor will come back out and I'll put oil in it and put oil in the carburetors, which is kind of a weird thing that SU carburetors, which is what these are, use. They actually have to have some oil in them. And yeah, fire it up and hopefully do the cam break in and stuff like that. And then it'll go back in the car and then the real fun begins. But anyway, so yeah, I spent a little bit of time on this one, more or less just like lining ducts up, getting those connectors on order and stuff like that. So I should be working on this one again here very soon as a few parts come in. So again, had a nice surprise from Jason at Air Cooled Vintage Works. You can look him up. And yeah, Jason surprised me and came a day early with the new Impy adjustable beam for this car. And so I went ahead and went to town here, so to speak, and got it installed. So it's all on there. And Impy actually improved the beam. If you guys saw, I had a video before showing how bad the adjusters were previously on Impy adjustable beams and what you have to do to get them to where they don't slip. Then they fixed that. I'm very pleased with it. I don't know if it had anything to do with the video that I released showing how bad their beams were and how much attention they needed before they were, in my opinion, usable. One way or the other, though, they fixed it. And I will probably do a short video, to be fair to them, showing what they fixed. Probably record that tomorrow while the car's still up on jack stands. I'll get up under there and show you the new adjusters. Anyway, so that came in and went together pretty well. The outer bearings and the inner bushings were a bit tight, so I spent some time massaging things to get the arms to go in nicely and rotate freely and stuff like that. But other than that, went together pretty well, went on the car, super easy. Everything, I believe, is hooked up now. I think everything's hooked up. Yeah, shocks are on, everything. So I think the next stage is to probably go ahead and put the gas tank back in. I do need to still put Zerk fittings on this front end and pump it full of grease. So I'll, again, do that, of course, when the car's up on jack stands, much easier. And then, yeah, then I think it's ready to have wheels and tires back on it and be put on the ground. Talked to the owner today. He stopped by and he was saying he wants maybe like an inch of rake or so. So I will aim for that. It is adjustable, of course, so we can pretty much set it at whatever we want. But yeah, this one is going to be back on its all 4 feet tomorrow. And I don't know, maybe go on a little test drive. Maybe not tomorrow, but probably by the end of the week, maybe by Saturday. I will get some gas in this thing, and when I'm happy with the front end and the adjustment and stuff, and maybe take this one for a little spin. I told the owner again when he came by today that I'm hoping he can take this car next week, and I think that is doable. So we shall see. Stay tuned for that. I think I mentioned before, Rene continuing to work on and do a lot of detail on the Krusty Karmann Ghia, and hopefully it's going to be ready for paint here in the next couple weeks maybe. So anyway, guys, that is it for today. Appreciate you all watching, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.